Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. When you know news is about to break that's going to make you look bad, there are two ways you can go about it. Way number one, you can get ahead of it by already combating the narrative, saying that it's lies, saying that it's fiction, or you can start backtracking and backpedaling, acting as if some of the things that you have said in the past simply don't exist, acting as if some of the bad decisions that you made in the past simply don't exist. Now, Christine Brennan and her book On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, is coming out relatively quickly, relatively soon, and it dives into the weeds of a lot of the bigger storylines that went into Caitlin Clark's rookie WNBA season. One of the biggest weeds that it dives into is how Cheryl Reeve was very standoffish to Caitlin Clark's arrival, very dismissive to Caitlin Clark's arrival, very agenda-driven when it comes to selecting her for the national team. And I have to think Dawn Staley is in that book as well, and she knows a bomb is about to drop when it comes to what she had to say, when it comes to her part in the Team USA national team. We know what she said publicly, right? She didn't even deny it. She said, the way she's playing, it would be hard, but she didn't deny that it was a bad decision at the time. Dawn Staley, she has her own history speaking foolishly when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But Cheryl Reeve and Dawn Staley both have been in the news lately, taking two different paths. Cheryl Reeve took the first path. I'm going to get ahead of it, and I'm going to say that book is all lies. Dawn Staley took the second path. I'm going to act like I didn't say the things that I said. I'm going to act like I didn't make the choices that I made. Let's start with Cheryl Reeve and what exactly she had to say most recently on the FanDuel Sports Network.
What she wrote is fiction. And if she were paying attention, one of the things that I have done for years is held the league accountable for their missteps, mishaps, their lack of representation of all teams. And so that particular situation had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It had everything to do with a WNBA social media post that promoted one preseason game and not all preseason games. And so I simply said that, and by the way, the Minnesota Lynx are playing the Chicago Sky, which, also had some popular player in Angel Reese that people were interested in. And it simply wasn't posted on their account. I also posted things when Nafisa Collier was not including in promotion of the greatness of our league. And I, made posts. And so if Christine Brennan were being thorough and a legitimate reporter in this situation, she would have gotten full context, but it didn't fit the narrative. Christine Brennan likes to have a villain in her storytelling. I am Christine Brennan's villain. That's what that's the sword she's going to die on. And it's a fiction, the stuff that she has written about me and my interest in Caitlin Clark being on or off the team.
Yeah, that is exactly what it has to do about Cheryl Reeve. Better sue then, says Farkacast. I don't give two Cheryl Reeves about this take. You know what? I don't give one Cheryl Reeve. The butthurt is palpable. Now, the tweet in question that Cheryl Reeve is talking about is this tweet. WNBA are promoting an Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings game, first preseason matchup of the year. And then Cheryl Reeve, in her feelings, says also, capitalization, also in action tonight, Minnesota Lynx versus Chicago Sky. Though fans won't be able to watch, Lynx fans can go to the Lynx app to follow along via play-by-play, or if you are in market, come to the game as we start the season off right. Now, what Cheryl Reeve left out in her beautiful soliloquy was what transpired under that post with what she also had to say. Somebody makes a comment saying, is there a reason why it's not being shown? Somebody responds saying, because they only care about Caitlin Clark. And then head coach Cheryl Reeve says that part. That seems very Caitlin Clark focused, no? That seems very centered around Caitlin Clark being promoted by the league, no? That seems very spiteful from, like Pam says, in somebody in leadership role acting quite unprofessional. Cheryl Reeve's getting ahead of the book. Oh, whatever, Christine Brennan's going to try to paint me in this light, and it's simply not true, and she's going to talk about what I had to say when it comes to Caitlin Clark and her being left off the Team USA team, and it's simply not true. Christine Brennan needs... Cheryl Reeve is doing the first. Saying it's all fiction, getting ahead of the story, trying to paint herself in a light so hopefully public opinion sways in her favor, so by the time the book drops, we all have amnesia and forget what actually transpired in the moment. Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley's another one that's been on quite the PR run when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look.
Only coached against Caitlin twice, right? Both times she had over 30. Right? I don't know if there's a player that I coached against that had 30 points against us in the 2 times that they played. Both one's a win and one's a loss. I would say she's probably the most difficult to scout to play against in that she can beat you a variety of ways. She can beat you with her 3-point shot. But for me, the most dangerous thing of Caitlin Clark is her passing ability, her ability to make other people better, and her ability to have, other people's production along with her production. That's how you win. If you can get somebody to produce along with her.
Dawn Staley has been going on interviews for the past 2 weeks saying the same thing about Caitlin Clark. Championing Caitlin Clark, championing Caitlin Clark, championing Caitlin Clark. As if we all forget Dawn Staley in the middle of a non-existent Rookie of the Year battle.
If you had to evaluate it from your perspective, who do you think is having that season,
Oh, so you're going to try to put me in the controversy, right?
No,
They both are having great years.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If I had to pick a Rookie of the Year at this time,
like today you had to pick,
today, it's Angel.
Yeah,
not a doubt. I mean, what she's been able to do with the double-doubles.
The double-doubles, what she's been able to do. Dawn Staley, you have been called to the forefront for all of the nonsense that you have been saying lately. For all the things that you've been said in the past when it comes to Caitlin Clark and the Olympic national team. These people can go on press runs and say this and say that and say this and say that. At the core, deep down, they're all just a bunch of haters. They're all just a bunch of haters. Michael Ramsford puts this beautifully. Cheryl Reeves deleting tweets. Dawn Staley on a media tour to prove she loves Caitlin. PR headlines about how Caitlin is top of the list for the next Olympic team. Yeah, I'm pre-ordering Brennan's book. It's about to blow shit up. This book is about to blow the lid off of the WNBA old guard. Off of all the people who thought that they were safe conspiring in their little closet, in their little conference room, talking negatively, saying this, saying that, dismissing this, dismissing that. All of that is going to be coming. What happens in the dark eventually gets brought to the light. And the 2 ringleaders, Cheryl Reeve and Dawn Staley, they are about to get exposed. Nasty. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. We'll see you next time, and as always, take it easy.